Taste of Dragons Gaming Podcast. We eat sandwiches and play games. Taste of Dragons Gaming Podcast. A podcast for everyone's day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Taste of Dragons, the Toddcast, the video game podcast that all you wooden boys listen to. And this week, hey, we're coming to the end of the summer of bonus episodes, y'all.
It's time.
We're putting on our suits and our ties. We're getting our work shoes out. We're putting our research glasses on.
That's right.
We've got some books checked out of the library.
Get ready for those fall bonus episodes.
No, we're going to put the work in.
We're going to
come back with some dragons.
We're going to put the work in and put that research spin on this podcast.
I mean, I still got to go to the dry
dives.
cleaners and put in my suit, but, you know, we'll get there. I'll get there.
Yeah, it's always hard to get that plaid clean.
It is. A little more difficult than you think. It's like, man, you see these lumberjacks out there and like, man, it looks great all the time. What do you do?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Secret, lumberjacks are all really good at doing their own laundry.
You
Just
know,
comes with the territory.
that is why
Two things.
Bounty, the guy.
Yeah. He's a
Laundry
picker-upper, yeah.
and beard care. Lumberjacks got it.
All grooming.
Forget about the wood cutting part.
No. That's superfluary
Yeah.
to the other stuff. But yeah, let's get into it. As always, my name is Brian.
My name is Troy.
Amanda.
And I'm Joe.
Hey, just the four of us this week. We had to give you guys a little bit of a downtime after the six of us were on last week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a lot of people.
It was
Yeah.
a lot,
Explosion of dragons.
right?
So many dragons. So little time.
What do you call a collection of dragons? A fang of dragons?
A clutch.
A clutch of, is that real?
I don't know.
Oh,
I
that
wanted
sounds
to be,
great.
though.
Yeah.
Wow, I believed you.
Yeah.
I thought you were right.
You call it a dungeon of dragons.
Oh, clutch was really good, but I think Troy got you.
Could we call it
It was
a
good.
taste of dragons?
Oh, damn, of course.
Oh, no, Joe
of
won.
course.
Gosh, man.
Gosh.
Wow. Oh.
Like, it's right there. Yeah.
Branding. Damn it. But yeah, so it's just going to be the four of us tonight. We're going to be talking a lot of Gamescom, I believe. We're going to be talking a little bit of Troy's experiences with a game that just came out this week. And maybe a couple other fun topics. We'll see where the night takes us.
Surprises.
Ooh.
Who knows?
But let's start with our question. So as I was talking about, Gamescom is happening right now. So with it comes lots of new trailers, announcements, release dates, all that jazz. Well, one of the new trailers is for a game called Lies of P. And so
Like P as in like Pete, like Lies of Pete, like a person.
we'll go with that. You'll see where I'm going with this.
Okay.
So it's a Souls-like game
Okay.
where you are Pinocchio
Okay.
and you're on a journey to become human.
Okay.
So that's the Lies of P, which is Pinocchio.
Oh,
I
P
see, I
for
see.
Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
So, and if you haven't seen the trailer looks great. I mean, it's come out. I've seen they've had like a little teaser of it before. I think earlier this year, last year, but they came out with the full trailer of it. I think it's like 4 minutes long. Looks great.
So do they not have the rights to like say Pinocchio? Is the character's name just P?
Oh no, I think Pinocchio is open source. Like
yeah,
that
oh,
is.
yeah, that's
Pinocchio's,
old story.
Public domain, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he is.
He is a
not
grown man.
What I thought he would look like.
No, he's a grown man.
This is Pinocchio.
Oh my gosh, looks like Timothy Chalamet.
He
Right?
looks like he's already a real boy.
But that's the thing. He's not.
Not on the inside.
Not on the
No,
inside.
No.
Look how pretty that is.
Okay, so I'm guessing you have to fight your way to a soul.
Okay, you said souls-like,
Yeah.
and all I'm thinking is, are you killing real things and taking their souls
Yeah.
to become real?
Yeah.
No, Souls-like as in a Dark Souls type game.
Right,
I
where
know,
you're
where
fighting
you're
stuff and
killing
killing
things and taking
things.
their
Yes.
souls.
Well, you're fighting like like they have, in the story you have machines, you have some automata, you have some
You got Figaro.
You also have
got
some other things.
Some goldfish.
You have some real people as well.
So do you kill Geppetto to get his soul?
You don't kill
Oh
Geppetto.
my god,
If you kill
Geppetto
Geppetto-
looks wild.
If you killed Geppetto, you wouldn't be taking his soul. You'd definitely be taking that dope bowler hat.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so,
Oh my
so
God.
And the monocle.
Geppetto looks like fancy Ahab.
Yes.
Like he looks like Ahab, who's also friends with the Monopoly Man.
Yes.
They hang out with Mr. Peanut.
Yes.
And they all share the same
Yes.
monocle and bowler hat.
But no,
Exciting.
so it actually seems like at one point they do meet, and it seems like they've been apart for a while, Geppetto
Okay,
and
okay.
Pinocchio. So,
Prodigal
yeah.
son returns.
So you're going through it, and so it got me thinking, like, hey, my question to you all is, if you could turn any fairy tale into a game, what would it be, and what genre would it be in?
Cool. Yeah, I got mine.
Oh, you got yours
Yeah,
already.
I got
Yeah,
mine.
That was
out of the
quick.
gate.
Hansel and Gretel.
Ooh.
All right.
But you're playing from the witch's perspective, where these two little kids are trying to eat her house. That's a problem. That's a rodent problem right there. You got to get that fixed.
What if it's like two things. One, what if it's like an RTS and you have to defend your house from little children that continue
Right.
to come to try to eat it? Two, what if it's like the opposite, like it's Roller Coaster Tycoon and you have to make your house
Oh.
more appealing so that children come so you can eat them?
Oh.
You upgrade your oven
Yeah,
to
yeah,
fit more
yeah.
kids in it.
I like the idea. Like, I don't want children here, and they
Okay.
keep showing up.
So
And I
more
just gotta-
RTS, yeah.
More RTS. More RTS. I can also see the other perspective. If you're
Candy
Hansel,
turrets.
Candle turrets. Yes. if you're Hansel and Gretel, and it's like a couch co-op, kind of like a It Takes Two type deal, and you're just going around the world, you're still villains. You're still the villains, and you're just messing up like a bunch of witches' houses, like one after the other.
What if this is kind of like a Dead by Daylight or like Friday the 13th, where it's an
Like-
asymmetrical thing where one person plays as
Oh,
the
witch,
witch,
yeah.
and then you
Two
have
people
some
play
kids
as the
play
kids.
as the kids.
And then you're fighting each other. That could be fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see that.
I like that.
Don't eat my house. Leave it alone.
Well, don't make
Gross.
it out of candy.
That's my decision. No, you keep your teeth to yourself. Goodness. What? Kids.
Hey, listen. That's like saying, "Hey, how dare these termites come in and try to eat my house?" I mean, that is
And
exactly
what do we do to termites?
exactly.
We put them in a bowl and eat them and stew them up, right?
Right.
Right, everyone?
That's exactly
Right?
what we do, yeah.
Everyone puts them into pies? Is that just me? Right? Termite pie?
I don't even have. I can't even.
there are definitely cultures out there that do eat their termites.
You know what? Resourceful.
It's
Heck yeah.
absolutely what it is. Absolutely what it is. For me, I was going to go with Jack and the Beanstalk,
Uh-huh.
but it's in the vein of Shadow of the Colossus.
Sweet.
Ooh.
So you can go around and you have all these giants that you want to steal their treasure. Maybe you want to, or maybe you're just trying to leave. Maybe you happen to go up there and realize, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be, and it's you escaping from the Cloud Kingdom.
Yeah, you climb that giant and just stab him in the back of the skull. That's how that story ended, right?
Oh,
I mean, pretty much.
Yeah.
That giant fell from that sky.
It's just like Attack on Titan. You just had to cut the nape of the neck, and that's how you
Oh
killed them.
gosh.
Done. These are all very dark. All these fairy tales are very dark.
I mean, that's
They
that's
are
how they are.
I know. I mean, this is a fact. This is not a question.
Exactly.
They are. We're not far off from just how these stories actually go.
I was thinking I would want to do their robber bridegroom.
Oh, what's that one? I don't know that
So
fairy
it's
tale.
Can you summarize?
Oh, sorry.
without
should've-
giving the whole thing away. Yes, I can.
All right.
So there's
Play
this.
some music. Everyone tuck in
there you
at
go, there
home.
you
Go
go.
ahead, get in your Betty pies.
Tucked
That would
in.
Get some warm milk.
I love how that was a question for yourself. Like, can I? I can.
I can. Basically, it's a story of there are these gentlemen that would go to a town. There's these lovely maidens that live in the town, and they would marry these maidens, and then lo and behold, on their wedding night, the young ladies would end up dead.
Oh, gosh.
But all of their worldly possessions were also gone because their dowries would have went with them, and the gentlemen would now move to another area, and they would once more do this thing.
no.
And it was about these evil guys that did this. And there's a story of one group of sisters who ended up marrying these gentlemen. And lo and behold, to the gentlemen, they wanted to sneak up on the men the night before the wedding, and they hid in barrels. And the barrels had a little knot in them, and they would look outside the knot, and they heard the horrifying stories that these gentlemen had done in other towns. So the next day, they had prepared treats and things for the party, and one of the sisters hid in the barrels, and they essentially watched as the gentlemen didn't know where their wives were, but they were eating all these pies and eating all these cakes, and they ended up dead because they were poisoned. And so it was an interesting. That is a very dumbed down version of. There's like people who lose hands and stuff too. It's a really dark story. Like,
So which way are we going, Joe, with your
Yeah.
game?
so actually, I was thinking it would be more like kind of almost Assassin's Creed, where you have to find things to hide in so you can hear what if they're bad
Like
or not.
snake in a
Kind of like
in a
snake
box.
in a box. And I think it would be fun to either figure out, like, you're one of the sisters and you've heard of these tales, but you don't know if the gentleman that's courting you is actually a bad guy or a good guy. So you kind of have to find ways to kind of creep around the town to find out if they're a bad guy or a good guy. And you could essentially kill them, or you could not kill them. Maybe you made the right choice. Maybe you didn't.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
I'm very interested in the cooking gameplay of this.
there
of
would
this
absolutely
game.
be cooking.
Making those
Chopping
poison
up
pies.
They made pies. I think one of the versions of the story, one of the guys had lost a finger in the town ahead, like the town behind them or whatever, and they.
Please tell me it goes
put
in the
his
pie.
finger
It does. It goes in the
Please tell me
pie.
it
Yeah,
goes-
they had found
Perfect.
like the story and whatever, and like they were like, it's the person.
Wow.
It was a weird, like a very dark tale. It actually is much worse than
All right. If you're looking for fairy tales to tuck your kids in tonight,
maybe not the robber bridegrooms.
That also reminds me of Bluebeard, which is very similar. Is he finds
Yes.
a lady and then he goes to marry her, and then she goes to his house and finds a room full of all other dead wives.
oh
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That one's a. Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
that one's
some
a,
of this is like based off of like the real
Absolutely.
instances of this happening, and
I'm
then
sure
people
this
making
happened.
these stories
Yeah,
be like,
yeah.
"Zzz."
Or even just metaphorically speaking of like, hey, someone who seemed nice, maybe you shouldn't marry them immediately
Right.
because they may have skeletons in the closet, quite literally,
Literally.
or even just metaphorically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
I did just recently read a fairy tale that I really fell in love with. It was called Vasilisa the Beautiful. It's Russian. And it's actually, I don't know if she exists in multiple fairy tales, but Baba Yaga is in this one. Which is
She does.
Yeah, I would say, which is a folk icon that I've seen in video games and stuff, but I've never like read her in a fairy tale. But basically, Vasilisa's like Cinderella. Her stepmom and stepsisters are mean to her, and they send her into the woods, and they're like, "Hey, you have to go get fire from Baba Yaga." And Baba Yaga's like, "You go who you die," but she doesn't know any better, so she goes to Baba Yaga's house and is like, "Hey, I need fire." And the story is nice. She has a lot of like.
Oh, I was expecting her to just like set her on fire.
Oh, no,
Like here's your
no.
fire.
It's
Leave.
It's neat. They have like a bunch of like tests that she goes through
Oh,
to
gotcha,
prove
gotcha.
that she's worthy, and then Baba Yaga gives her the fire, but she gives her the fire in the shape of a skull, like one of the skulls outside of her chicken house. Her house is on chicken legs. Is like is.
I
Like
love that
engulfed
story.
in fire, and then she comes back with the head on a spike in flames, and then her stepmother and stepsister see it, and then like immediately turn to ash, so they like burn away. But I like the image of like that. I could see like American McGee, like how you get like that. We've seen Alice in Wonderland so many times.
Yeah.
like it would be so cool to see like another like fairy tale in that fashion of and like the image of Baba Yaga and all the skulls and the fire and the mean stepsisters. I feel like either like Tim Burton style where you do like the claymation bit, or like Don't Starve style where it's like that scratchy art, and having the just playing through the tale would be cool.
Yeah, the I believe Tomb Raider, the last
That's
one.
my favorite.
That one they did
Yeah.
Baba Yaga
It was
amazingly.
wonderful.
The way that it was like a hallucination,
It
but the
was,
way that
yeah.
but the way that they still animated it, and they did the whole
They did
legs
the house,
and everything.
the legs. They did,
Yeah.
and it was if you have a chance, the latest Tomb Raider. It was. I do believe it was an add-on though.
It was. It was
Because
yes.
I
It
think
was
when
a
I was playing
downloadable.
it was already in there, so I didn't know until I was talking to other people. But I do believe it's an add-on, and it's phenomenal.
But
and it's scary.
They had one description of Baba Yaga that I liked. That her nose was really long and it pointed downward, and her chin was really long and it pointed upward, and she was so grotesque that they almost touched in the middle. And I was like, that's an excellent visual and very like classic like witch, like the way that you think about it.
It is. Yeah. That reminds me of like because that's how they did them in the movie Witches as well.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so very much like that. So that brings me memories back of that. And yeah, those were creepy witches.
Yeah. I love a good creepy witch.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. Yeah. Well, I was not expecting those fairy tales. So thank you so much. Because that's the thing. Like, there's so many different interpretations of what a fairy tale is.
Yeah.
And so many different cultures have their own versions of fairy tales. So I'm glad you guys brought something else to the table.
Brian, you can say it. You and I are basic.
Well, yeah.
I see. I get it.
Fun fact: most fairy tales don't have like an attributed author.
Correct.
Because they were like spoken orally, and they think that actually most fairy tales were told primarily by women.
Yeah.
So considering that women didn't really have a foothold in literature for a very long time, fairy tales are like a bastion of female knowledge that kind of doesn't exist elsewhere.
And I loved it because you guys also shared stories that Troy and I didn't know. So you also
Yeah.
shared your knowledge of fairy tales to us, passing it along.
Yeah, orally.
continuing it.
Passing it down.
All right. Well, thanks so much. Now let's get into Gamescom a little bit since we started with it.
What is Gamescom? I thought we did this in the summer. Isn't it just E3? What is Gamescom?
It's a European E3 if you want to go that way.
Oh, I didn't know that actually. So
Yeah.
it takes place in Europe.
Yes.
What was the thing that happened early in the summer?
Games done quick.
No,
No,
that's
no.
Summer's Game Fest,
Summer
Game
Games
Fest.
Fest. Yeah.
which is like America's.
Well, it's E3. Yeah.
Okay, so E3 is coming back. It was
Oh,
in
gosh.
this year. It was basically taking the place of E3, but Summer Game Fest is something that Jeff Keighley has had done. I think the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, he's
I
done
wanna
it for a
say.
little while, and it just ran in concordance with
with E3.
Yeah, which is more
essentially.
indie focused. Whereas this year, because there's no E3,
Right.
it had a lot of bigger names as well. So yeah, Gamescom is kind of like the Europe's E3.
Show a bunch of trailers, talk to some developers that
Yep.
are working on games coming out, and just kind of get up to date. And a time for developers to kind of show what they're working on.
Yeah, and not necessarily even indie studios, but studios that wouldn't necessarily travel to Los Angeles in order to do these
Right.
things. But they're still bigger studios. They
Cool.
can still show off their stuff.
Nice.
Alright, cool.
So yeah, that's what this is for. And yeah, there's
And
been
it's
a
like
lot of fun stuff coming
Multiple
out.
days.
Yes, yeah, multiple days, different conferences each day. Microsoft, I think, had one today or yesterday. Destiny, they pretty much started the thing on their own with their own thing that they were doing. So yeah, there's a lot of different things going on this week.
Gamescom, it's happening.
It's happening. And yeah, so a lot of fun stuff came out. I think a trailer for a game that you guys are excited for came out during this.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
It was everything.
It was.
For anyone who's familiar with the Monkey Island franchise, or even if you're not, there was a new Monkey Island trailer that came out courtesy of Stan, the used boat salesman, who is a glorious character from the original Monkey Island game. And the trailer is absolutely perfect. It's just him describing what the video game will be like. And they wanted to let you know that if you do choose to, you can pre-order Monkey Island right now. And if
Alright.
you do pre-order Monkey Island, you can get a free set of horse armor.
Hey,
Sweet.
you used to have to pay that $5 for
Yeah,
that
that's
in
true.
Skyrim.
That's true.
Is there a horse in Monkey Island?
Probably not.
No.
Okay.
I doubt it.
One, no puzzle will be that direct. and two, they say at the end of the trailer that the item has no practical use in the game, but I'm going to use that horse armor on everything.
On everything, just to see what the prompt would be.
one thing in there is going to work. Oh gosh, what does Threepwood usually say when something doesn't work? It probably changes from game to game.
Yeah. Yeah. And they usually has a couple of them,
He has a
too.
few
Yeah,
phrases.
yeah.
I don't remember.
By the time you play a game, it's like stuck in your head. It's just like, no, I don't think I want to do that. No, I don't think I want to do that. No, I don't think but there's definitely like, oh,
There's a phrase in each one of them that is very similar.
I can't use that there.
Yeah.
I can't use
That
that
one.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them I played. I don't know if it was Monkey Island, but one of the other ones, like if you tried it multiple times, they just went, the definition of insanity is just trying the same thing.
Don't judge me.
It was pretty great. The trailer's about 2 minutes long, and it's completely in character, right?
Yes, it's all Stan all times.
And he's got all the arms. Stan is reminiscent of like one of those like a floppy car salesman, like air dolls or whatever. I don't know what they call those.
Arm flailing tube man.
Arm flailing tube man of various colors.
Yes.
Those wacky inflatable tube man.
Wacky,
Yes.
Inflatable tube man.
Yes.
That's what Stan reminds me of in that trailer.
He has the arms. Yeah.
But I got to see if he moves because Stan has that amazing coat where
Yes.
even though he moves, the colors on his coat don't. It's hard to explain, but I got to see that in motion.
I also have to be the person. I think Stan was out before wacky inflatable.
Done.
That's fair.
Which, oh my gosh, that they came out and they're for used cars, and Stan came out first and he was for used boats. So really, I think that wacky inflatable arm men are just pretending to be Stan.
I co-sign that.
Yes.
That's
Stamp of
exciting. It's got a release date. What is it? The 19th or something?
Yes.
Yes.
September 19th.
Yes.
Wow, next month.
Yeah, it
You've
was
been-
about a month away. Yeah.
I mean, after waiting like 7 years since the last one, what's another couple of weeks?
They
Right?
do release them pretty regularly, considering that the original one came out in 1987. The fact that this is the sixth Monkey Island of the series, like we're pretty lucky. We're pretty lucky.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. I was really excited when I heard the release date. I was like, whoa, wait, like a month away? Like, I was thinking this was going to be like one of those games that just got pushed to next year, not because it needed to, or maybe they just wanted to, or nope, we got a month. This is great.
Yeah.
They're like, the people who are going to play this are going to play it. It doesn't matter what else has come out or anything else. They're just going to play it.
Yeah.
We know our audience.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
It's great. It's great. And then they also, what was there? There was also a Disney thing as well, right? The
Disney's Dreamlight Valley, which I saw a trailer of this a while ago on Game Pass. I don't know what I was playing. I was playing like Halo, like the most opposite of Disney thing you could be
People
playing.
who like Halo also like.
Like Disney's Dreamlight Valley. Yeah, how'd you know? So I watched the trailer.
So they weren't wrong.
Not at all. And it just looked delightful. It was like this trailer where you're like making your own little cottage or house, and then your entire village is populated by Disney characters. It's kind of very Animal Crossing like, or at least you got that feeling, as your neighbors are these animals that want you to do stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Feels like quarantine happened, and then Animal Crossing came out, and the whole world
you're
went
so
crazy, and then Disney was like, that. We're gonna do that.
Yeah.
And then they made this game, and it's almost ready. So I think they missed the zeitgeist, but I think the game could still be fun.
And it wouldn't be the first time Disney's done that, because they did the same thing with Skylanders. We're like,
Yeah.
oh, that. And then they came out with their stuff. And it was just like, oh, yeah, that was
What was
like
it called?
3 years ago, my
Disney-
guy.
Yeah.
Infinity.
Disney
yeah.
Infinity.
Like, that was like 3 years ago, my guy. What are you doing?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
I don't know. Watching that trailer did make me download that Disney adventure game where you're running through the park all the
okay.
time
Yeah.
with your hands
Yeah.
up. I played that like for like weeks, just getting out this nostalgic Disney energy. But that's going to come out next week, I believe, the 6th.
Yeah.
Disney's Dreamlight Valley.
Nice.
And I'm a little concerned about it. We have some concerns.
Oh, really?
We've got some concerns. One thing I did see as I was looking at some pictures of it is definitely a little icon in the bottom, which was like its own currency.
Oh.
And I was like, oh no, am I going to be making my house? And I got my Mickey lamp and I got my Pluto clock. And then I'm going to get like my Goofy refrigerator. And it's like, hey, sorry, not available. Unless you pay us real money.
Like, no.
God damn it. I'm a little afraid of microtransactions when that game comes out.
And I can't blame you, because that's just what they do. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what a lot of
I know.
companies do, but
Yeah.
Disney does that a lot.
We were at Disney last weekend, and I gotta say, they have perfected the microtransaction
Right?
in real life.
Yeah, in a strange way, in a way that I don't really remember it being. And as Florida residents, we go over a few years, it's never been like this before.
No, it hasn't. Yeah.
I felt the same exact way. Every nickel and every dime, it was like, but why are you doing? You do realize I'd rather just pay you a lump sum at the beginning and just be like, hey, we're good. How about you just keep all that extra money you would have made from nickel and diming me? Now I'm paying attention and I'm paying less.
Yeah.
And just a tangent, just a little bit. I'm really surprised that they didn't have any reusable cups.
Oh my goodness.
The amount of bottles that we went through. One, it was really hard to
gosh.
recycle. And then two, there was
Yes.
no reusable option. If we have anyone who listens to the podcast and actually has any information on why Disney doesn't do this, maybe they could contact us in the Discord. But
So much waste as you were just looking around.
I think it might be because of COVID. I think they might not want to like handle the cup that you were drinking out of. I'm just going to go with that. I don't know
they
if
have
that's
reusable
true.
popcorn containers.
Fair.
but you don't hand that container to get, because it's like Starbucks. Prior to the pandemic, Starbucks was really into give us the cup that you already have when you're walking
Right,
up. They'd
right.
take the cup, they would put your stuff in there, whatever reusable thing you had, and then literally when the pandemic started, they were like, "Ooh, we're not doing that anymore. We're not touching
Yeah, we're not
anything
touching your
anybody brings
spit."
to
But
us."
but they're Disney. I feel like when I was a
There's
kid,
gotta
if
be a
that had
way.
happened, I would have gone to the park and they would have had like cup washing stations. We would have put the cup on like a
Yeah.
diner
You're not
thing,
wrong.
and it would have
Yeah.
gotten washed, and I would have handed it to somebody. So I just feel like I wasn't disappointed. I still had a lot of fun, but it felt like, oh, I want you to be the best. I want you to be like the innovative thing. And the idea that like I threw away 40 forks and 9 water bottles because we were at Food and Wine and we ate a lot of food and we drank a lot of water was like, I got back, and as someone who gave up paper towels like 4 years ago, is like, I can't believe I couldn't.
Yeah, especially because I mean, like our generation and the generation below us are pretty conscious about that. I mean, we've all seen the sea turtles with the 6-pack around its neck. We've seen the sea
Yeah.
turtles with the straws
so
up its
sad.
nose. We've seen all that stuff. So,
Wait, what? I haven't seen the one with straws up their nose.
oh yeah,
But
oh,
that's
that sounds
actually
horrifying.
literally the video that stopped straws from being a thing.
Oh,
Like, for all of
yikes.
like that was the thing that they
Because
pushed.
Disney still had straws too, which really, I mean, even Starbucks is like, hey, we just made a lid so you don't need a straw.
Yeah.
It's like, why can,
Starbucks still has straws, but Starbucks also and many others have moved to the recyclable, like fully naturally recycled
It'll break
materials
down
being used.
in
It's going to break down.
water.
It's not
Yes.
plastic. Whereas I think the Disney straws, I want to say they were wax as well.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't think they were regular straws. I don't.
But
Yeah.
but I mean,
don't
like when you get a
recall.
straw at Starbucks, it's usually because you got something that requires a straw, so
Yeah.
some kind of frappe.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
But at Disney, if it's just a soda, why not have soda cup? Why not have a little spout thing that the Starbucks has?
Yeah.
And I just feel like Disney of the past would have thought of that. They would have been the first one to come out with that way before
They
Starbucks
were the
has.
world of tomorrow.
Maybe this is my nostalgia talking, and it was never like that. But, like,
Yeah, it was the 90s. I don't know.
especially at Epcot, because that's the whole point of Epcot.
Maybe they went from making the world of tomorrow, but they like saw what the world actually was. And they were like, nah, let it all trash up. We're going for realism.
They went from making the world of tomorrow to making the money of tomorrow.
Dang.
Pa, 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 pa. We really enjoyed our time at Disney.
Oh yeah, great
And this
stuff.
video game looks fun. I want to live next door to all of the villains.
Just you and Ursula.
Ursula and I are
going
gonna hang.
Oh
I
Yeah.
want
my
to live
gosh.
next to Cruella so the puppies can come over to my house.
Yes. Especially new Cruella, because she doesn't murder dogs.
Right? Right? She's still by far, hands down, the most evil villain I have ever seen in anything ever.
just wants to make a coat out of puppies.
Have you seen her drive? That look on her face? She is crazy.
That is a
Yeah.
really crazy evil lady. Like, I mean, you've got Ursula. I feel like, you know what? She gave people a choice.
She's got some valid points.
She has some
Yeah.
very valid points.
Have
and
you
I
listened
think
to her song recently?
no.
It is biting commentary on women's society.
Beautiful.
It is.
is.
She is
Beautiful.
absolutely
Yeah.
correct in everything that she says, and I love
She
her.
is.
It is pun intended
some-
divine.
Yes.
So there's many a villain where I've seen the villain, and even as a child was like, that's really doesn't seem that bad. You don't seem like you. It seems like you're on the right path. You may have just made a choice or two that I would not have made.
You went to murder instead of something else?
Right.
Perhaps-
I get the fine line.
Perhaps, you know. But then I see Cruella, and I was always like, that is just, I can't.
This movie only exists because for the one time she failed.
Right?
There's so many movies not made for every coat she has, and you've seen her closet.
Right?
She's got that tiger coat, a jaguar coat.
101 kittens. Oh boy, 101 tabbies.
We didn't get to see
We
those
didn't see
movies.
that one.
She walked into the wrong house. Anita Darling and her were friends, and she should have just let that go.
Yeah.
She shouldn't have walked into Roger and Anita's house and been like, give me your puppies, yo. Those are the last 16 I need to make this dope coat. First off, I don't know why you need that many, but whatever.
She did offer to buy them.
Disney is backpedaling on the villains a little bit, so I can see them
Yeah.
being like, no, she just wanted to copy the pattern. The pad. She just wanted an example of puppies. She didn't want to. No one would ever want to murder puppies. I don't know what you're
No.
talking about.
No, she just wanted to put the ink on the spots and then roll them onto a piece of
Yeah,
paper,
yeah,
so when
yeah,
she
yeah,
can
right,
get
right.
you know the
Realism.
exact
Realism.
For
exactly.
reality, when that Cruella movie, the newer one, came out with Emma Stone, I think our friends had to tell me if there was any puppy drama
Right,
in it, or
right.
if there was any dog, because I was like, I'm not going to watch that.
Yeah, no
Like,
one's
I
gonna
don't know how
write-
they could have done
Yeah.
that. I don't
Right?
know how they could release that movie
no one's
today
gonna
with someone
stand.
realistically trying to murder dogs.
murder
Dog-
puppies,
yeah,
right?
Dog horror.
I didn't think. Thank goodness for our friends. They're like, no. There's no. They're like, there's going to be a point that you're going to see something, and you're going to think that it's okay.
They
Don't worry. And
are.
I'm like, because
Yeah.
I can't watch that. I'm not. I love Cruella as a villain
They're redeeming
because she's
that
a real
villain.
villain.
When are we gonna get the Jafar redemption arc? Of just him in college talking to a parrot, meeting a parrot for the first time.
If we're gonna play
The head
this,
of-
in his
what's your
defense,
name?
the Sultan isn't very good at being Sultan. So I would almost think that Jafar is probably doing the accounts and just being like, I swear, if he buys one more magical item that's fake, we're gonna go bankrupt. I just need him out of the way. I can't justify the creepy Jasmine stuff though.
I was gonna say, that was the line.
Really,
That was the line.
That was the line.
He made some choices that I just not choices I would have made. Just not what choices I would have made.
It is that. Although I would like to say on our sister podcast that we did before, the Crispy Business, when they announced the movie Cruella, I called it that day where I was like, the only reason this movie can exist is if Dalmatians kill her parents. And when that movie happened, I stood up in the room and I put my arms up and I was like, I called it.
And they're like, that couldn't possibly. Oh my!
Wow,
She's
we're doing
basically
it.
Batman.
Yeah. I was so
Wait,
happy.
Wait, Bats didn't kill Batman's parents.
Oh, did I get that wrong?
Oh, okay.
I've been reading that wrong this whole time. Dang.
They just scared him.
Hey, listen, we don't know exactly who killed his
Oh,
parents. Let's get
man.
real about it. There's a lot of assumptions. No one's actually ruled out the bat.
I hope that that's in an episode of the new season of Harley Quinn. Is Harley thinks that bats killed Batman's parents?
And that's why he's Batman. What? No,
What?
it was
It
some
was a mugger.
thug.
Why isn't he Mugger Man?
Yeah.
Why bats?
It was Joe Chill. Why isn't he Joe Chill Man? What?
Chill. He's chill,
Chill,
man.
man.
Chill Man.
Chill man.
Because the mug just doesn't sound as brutal as the bat, you know.
Mugger
It's-
Man.
The mug symbol would have just been a mug instead of a bat symbol in the
The
sky.
giant mug in the sky.
Instead of the ears, it's a handle.
Just says the mug just says I hate Mondays.
Batman's true enemy, Monday.
Mondays. It's just Batman and Garfield being like, oh.
That's actually his sidekick, is Garfield's.
Oh no, the lasagna wonder.
Man, this has gone places.
Oh, now I'm imagining Garfield in a little Robin suit,
It looked cute.
and his superhero name is the Lasagna Wonder.
But like he's not doing anything because Garfield is like it's like you're not getting Garfield to do something.
I mean,
Oh, holy pasta, Batman!
crime is
great.
down throughout the city except on Mondays. Skyrockets.
Because every other day they're eating lasagna. Like, you want to go rob a bank? I just ate some lasagna. I'm not getting up. I'm not.
Why do we keep doing this?
I don't know. That cat keeps coming by making that delicious lasagna.
Oh my god. All right. Well, I think that was enough of Gamescom.
Get this back on the rails, Brian.
Did we talk about Gamescom?
No, that was enough of it. That's enough of it.
Talked about the two things I saw, and I only saw about a half hour.
All right, real quick.
Yes.
The Goat Simulator game looks hysterical.
Oh yeah, well, it's Ghost
Another
Simulator, of
another
course.
Goat
Yeah,
Simulator?
the
Is that like
trailer-
the 8th one? What are we talking
I don't
there?
even know which one it is. I think it's only three.
It's number 3. I don't even know if they've had a second one. I think they might have skipped 2
yeah,
into 3.
it's a legit
Sure.
trailer for the Goat Simulator. It's just goats screaming all over the place,
Great.
running around. It's hysterical. I'll give that time as soon as it comes out.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised how that's still funny. I guess I shouldn't be.
Screaming goats?
Goat Simulator 1 to Goat
Okay.
Simulator now. It's the same. It's the same idea. It's the same joke, I should
Yeah,
say.
yeah, there you
But
go.
the
there you go.
joke's still funny.
I can't fault you on that.
Just
You're
a,
right.
Just a goat running around with hijinks in a town.
Speaking
that's
of
it.
jokes that are still funny, I heard you played a new game recently.
I did play a new game, Saints Row. Saints Row.
Is the
Saints
joke
Row.
still funny?
No.
Oh, no!
Oh, no.
But there may be a new joke. Maybe there's a new
Okay.
joke.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So Saints Row came out this week, August 23rd. It's made by Volition and Deep Silver and is part of a storied franchise of the Saints Row games, some of which we've been playing for many, many years.
I played it since the first one.
Oh, yeah, I started in the second.
Yeah, I was in deep with the first one. I was like, all right, this is just Grand Theft Auto.
The first
this
one's
is fine.
They're like city crime open world adventure games.
Yeah.
And you just go, there's gangs, and you're stealing cars and doing a bunch of goofy things over town. The third one of these games is when it kind of flipped the script and it became very self-aware and really broke apart from the Grand Theft Auto series, which was getting more and more serious with their stories. Saints Row the Third was like a wrestling match and Fast and Furious kind of like combined together. It
Hold
was
on a
just-
second there. I just want to point out that Fast and the Furious got the way it did after Saints Row 3.
That's right.
I
that's
just need
right.
to point that
Yeah,
out
you're not
because we
wrong.
kept seeing trailers for that and going, wow, it's really becoming Saints Row. This is really happening to Fast and the Furious, and that's why it's good. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So
Back up.
it felt like just a big wrestling game mixed with like a Rambo
Yeah.
action movie, and was ridiculous and
Yes.
just loved it. I think what was his name? Tom Selleck? No, the guy with the mustache. The guy
Mr.
longest
Baseball?
yard.
Burt Reynolds?
Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds,
was
that's
like
right.
the mayor of the town.
Yeah.
in that.
And he was
He
just
wasn't
Burt
playing
Reynolds.
someone. He was just
It
Burt
was
Reynolds.
actually
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds, and
Yeah.
you're just like, what have they done with this game? And it was just glorious. And the next game upped it up. They were in like the Matrix, like, and they were in space. It was just the most bonkers stuff.
They had a spin-off where you got one of your crew members out of hell,
You go to
literally.
hell.
The first 5 games were all released within 2 years of one another, and
Wow.
this game is they haven't released a game in 7 years. So this
Okay,
has
there
been
you
a
go.
big gap as far as Saints Row is concerned.
So
between their last game.
a part of me really likes this game, and a part of me is really like, what has become of this franchise? They've gone back to 1. because they couldn't go further than being in the Matrix in space and in hell.
Yeah.
That they made a smart
in the
choice.
same game. Matrix,
same
Space,
game.
and Hell in the same game.
Yep.
Yeah.
They relocated to Reno, which some may say is the same thing. That's up to you. That's your thing. And it's kind of like it's a fake city, but it's got that little Vegas vibe to it, where it's not quite Vegas. It's a little dirtier than Vegas, which is saying a lot already.
Oh, yeah.
But you're kind of in this like Nevada, landscape, and you're not this like Matrix person anymore. You're just a regular like college student that just graduated, and you're just trying to make ends meet, and that's it.
You got loans, you can't pay them.
So that was probably this game. So one thing I really like about it are the characters so far are pretty fun. Like they have the best reason for your character to be doing crimes.
Okay.
And it's student debt.
I mean, we've all thought about it.
It's just you and your 4 friends in the small apartment being like, yo, how are we going to make rent this week? And one person's like, I don't know. What if we go steal some cars and then drive them over go get a bunch of
I have an
drugs?
idea. I have an idea. It is crimes.
It's crimes.
It's crimes.
Yes.
Let's do crimes.
Let's do crimes.
That's the fine line that we were talking about earlier with villains.
Yes.
You have us on the one side, and then you have these Saints Row characters on the other side. That
Crimes.
fine line is crimes.
It's crimes. That's the line.
Yeah.
And the characters are just kind of like you believe them. That they're just like, we're just doing this because we have to, and the times are rough, and like that's it, and that's fun, and it's a nice little premise. But man, I don't know what happened, but this game does not play very well.
Oh.
I've
It
heard
is
that.
janky.
Yeah.
I was in a chase scene tutorial, and they're like, this guy's getting away, go get him. And I run after him. And I'm checking out the shooting. The shooting is not bad or good. It's just shooting, whatever. And I'm aiming at the guy, but I'm just missing. And then I'm aiming at him, and I know I'm not missing, but it's just going through him. So I'm like, all right, I'm not supposed to, he's a bigger character. I just have to chase after him and catch him. So I run. I just start running. I'm not fighting anymore. I'm not hitting any dudes. I'm just focused on catching that person. I run into them, nothing happens. I run past them, nothing happens. And then I'm just waiting at like the end of the staircase for the animation of this guy to catch up to me. I outran him. And then as soon as he gets towards me, he just like blinks out of existence. And then your character's like, I don't know where he went. And then cutscene, he's in like a helicopter. And I'm like, oh, this is not supposed to be funny, but this is very funny. This is very enjoyable.
You weren't supposed to catch him.
I
You were
was not
supposed to get
catch
away.
him.
Yes.
So a lot of this game feels very like 10 years ago when they were making these games, and there's just a lot of jank in there. And I'll be honest, this feels less polished than like the Hell game and the big Matrix game that they made. And just so many times I'm kind of just going around the city and being like, what year am I in? It's just no hating on them.
Yeah.
But it's just like the textures are real fuzzy. And it plays just kind of, I don't know, like it's not very responsive.
It's weird that they waited
wanna like
7
it.
years and then they relaunched it, so they started over, but it didn't look different. It didn't look like they like got a new engine or they updated the art style. It's just like, I feel maybe some of it's nostalgia, and I imagine those other games looking better than they actually did, and this
Yeah.
has been improved, but it doesn't look like other games we've been playing right now.
You saw the intro, like
Yeah.
just graphically, it was like,
Oh.
What?
Yeah, I was a little confused. I was like, oh, this doesn't look like it didn't even look like the trailer.
Oh, really?
No, not really. The trailer looked much more rounded and polished than this does.
Gotcha.
it feels like this is the Saints Row 3 game they would have made if they kept following the more generic, like, I guess, motif
Gotcha.
of just being in a city and doing crimes.
Yeah.
And this also feels like this is the exact game they made 12 years ago instead of the wrestling over the top, inspiration of Fast and Furious.
What if you play 12 hours of this game and then the game goes and glitches and then like this has just been a
Oh
tutorial
my
and then the
gosh.
real game starts and it looks amazing.
The whole thing's time travel.
Yeah.
And the Saints roll up.
And then you're like in the Neo future and everything you've done in the beginning affects what you do now.
Johnny Gat's like,
Yeah.
kept you waiting, huh?
What?
What is happening?
That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
So, I am still enjoying it though, but I'm kind of enjoying it in the same way that you enjoy like kind of a silly horror movie or like a B movie
I see.
where you're kind of just like giggling at the rough edges, which I'm okay with because they're kind of endearing. And the core of the gameplay is just kind of relaxing. You're going around, you're doing a lot of silly side missions. Like there's one side mission. The whole premise of this world is like gangs are so big, they're like businesses, and you invest in gangs. That's like the hook of the Saints Row universe. And so like one of these side missions, you go to this like post, and all you have to do is leave a bad review for one of these gangs, and it's like, you know, out of 5, and the lower the review, the more guys will show up to fight you, and it's just an arena. It's like a horde fight. It's an arena fight.
Okay.
It's another way for you to just have a bunch of dudes to come at you and then try to take them down. But it's all through the guise of leaving a bad review, and they're so angry. They're like, "Oh, who did that? Go get 'em."
You're ruining our Yelp score.
Yeah, exactly. So it still has that over the topness. You're still running super fast to like jump into cars at blinding speed. There's a dedicated button for you to go from driving the car to surfing on it. You know? Like there's a built-in wingsuit, so no matter where you're falling from, you can deploy this wingsuit and just glide around the city. There's still a lot of fun to be had, and it's still very playable. It's not broken. It's just like the polish is just something that I didn't expect based on the previous games that they played.
Is the driving any good?
No.
Oh
I don't know if it ever was, though.
I don't remember having a problem with it. No, I remember the driving was all right because they give you a lot of extra points to build your character by getting near misses from other cars or driving on the wrong side of the road. And it was a very effective way to gain extra XP to get your character going. There was a good fluidity to it in the other games. This one,
right.
I'm not sure if it's bad or I just have like the starter cars. I have a feeling I may get better cars that handle better. The drifting doesn't feel great so far. There's a learning curve on it that I just haven't figured out, which doesn't feel like how drifting should feel.
Okay.
But I'm sure once you get a handle of it, it will be fine. That's my hope. Mm-hmm. But in the end, I really like the characters. I think this little crew that you have, they're relatable, which is something that the other game I did not have. The other game were so strong personalities. They were over the top in half. This is a very grounded crew of 20-somethings that are just like friends, and you kind of get that. And then that by itself, I think, was a refreshing take on the series.
Gotcha.
To kind of bring it back.
Nice.
And don't play as guys unless you're playing as the kind of Spanish-speaking voiceover, because the rest of them are just rough.
Oh yeah.
I created a full character, and you all know how long it takes me to create a character. I created a character before the game was even out. Remember, they created that boss factory. I created a character, thought he looked great. He had a white hair ponytail, and some cool eyeliner like Alice Cooper. I was ready, a nice beard, and then I went in there, and then I tied a voice to my character, and I was like, none of these voices work. And I rewatched the beginning scene over and over to be like, maybe once I see it in motion, like it'll work. And I went through this beginning like 5 times with every single male voiceover. Each one was just like, you don't sound like this character I'm making, and I also am not feeling whatever character voice this is to like just push through it. I went back, made a lady character. Great character voices. I'm playing this British lady. Great.
Nice.
I think it just comes with like the fact that we've seen like the same male archetype so many times. So you're gonna make a male character and you're like, you're just that guy, and you're gonna make a lady character and the voice lines are the same, but it's just you see you see much more of it now than you used to. You see very little of that. You're like, yeah, you're cool, and then the guy says it and you're like, oh, I'm so disappointed. And it's the same line.
Yeah. So that's my recommendation. Play a lady.
Nice. Yeah, I watched a little bit of some streams when it first released because I wanted to get a feel of it as well. And yeah, they experienced the same glitch as you did. Like they were shooting at a guy straight through him.
Yeah.
Straight through, and I was looking. I was like, what? And then he went to. I think he went to tackle him, and I think he went through the person. It was ridiculous.
What that translates to me is I was playing on the second hardest difficulty. I had to bump that down. Just because, like, if I can't rely on the mechanics, then I'm not going to play at a level where I need those mechanics to work.
Fair, yeah.
So I just bump it down until that's just enjoyable. It's just fine. Like, I'm aiming now, it kind of auto aims for me, and I'm like, that's okay. You tell me when I hit it.
If even you can hit it, that's not on me.
Yeah. I don't know. It's still kind of fun.
Yeah,
still get it,
that's
but-
what matters.
Yeah,
that's what
it's-
matters.
Yeah.
It's janky,
Yeah.
but
There's
I'm
a lot
okay
of
with
bad games I enjoy playing just
yeah,
because it's like, this is a relaxing game or it's something else, whatever it is. As long as you're enjoying it, that's what matters.
it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And then, Amanda, I think you've been playing a game as well. I think Troy as well, but, both of you guys have been playing a game recently.
Yeah, we picked up Graveyard Keeper again, which is, if you've never seen it before, is like Stardew Valley, but with corpses. So in the game, you get sent to this world you've never been to before, and like you wake up and they're like, hey, you're the Graveyard Keeper. And you're
Well,
like,
you get hit by a
no.
bus.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is how it starts.
You're like, no, I'm not. And they're like, yeah, bye. And they don't explain anything. And then you have
So
to
you're
like
I guess I'm not dead because I'm in charge of dead people. So that can't be right.
right? So you're in this world trying to figure out the mystery of why you're there and what's going on, and then your job is to take care of the local cemetery. So they drop off corpses, and then you have to like take care of the corpses. You have to disembalm them, and you have to get them set up to be buried. When you bury them, you get like points and stuff, and it's really nice. It's got a really good mystery. Troy and I downloaded the 3 DLCs that have come out
Which
since
are
then.
necessary
They're so good.
if you're going to
Nice.
play this game.
Okay.
And they kind of seamlessly integrate into the story. Like we had a really hard time differentiating one DLC from another.
I like
and
when
also,
they do that.
Yeah, and also like when they started, it took us a while to realize that they had begun. It was like it just felt very organic.
Nice.
And it's like a crafting, farming mystery game,
Okay.
Yeah.
which is
a little
really
bit of puzzle
amazing.
solving or adventuring.
It's very silly.
Quests, like take this thing to this person or figure out, how this works.
Gotcha. How long have you guys been playing it? How many hours do you think you've been
no
put
idea.
into it?
Just
My PlayStation says only 9, but I think it's wrong.
because there was one day where Troy and I woke up in the morning and we both decided to play this game. We had just picked it up. And we sat on the sofa all day. We don't
was
normally do that. We play
Yeah.
a good deal of video games, but normally it's like, okay, go do a thing. But no,
I can't remember the
No.
last time that happened. I don't even know when or how we ate that day. I have no recollection of it.
That's actually where the 9 hours comes from. It's just on one day. That's all it counts.
we definitely ordered food once.
Okay,
and then
okay.
had it delivered to us. That's the level of nothing that we were doing.
We just devoured this game just wholeheartedly. It's just so the loop of crafting and getting new corpses and preparing them and then farming and then dungeon crawling, and it was just always something that was on your mind to do and always a new like project to fulfill that you just kept that momentum going the entire time. It's kind of like a week cycle.
Okay.
So only certain characters will show up on certain days of the week.
Okay.
Which is good and bad. Bad at first because if you needed to turn something in, you made the character wanted a chair, and so you made the chair, and then you're like, I'm going to give this. Oh no, they
They're
were
not
there
here-
yesterday.
They're not here till Green Day.
They don't show up for another week, and it takes a while to get through that week.
It's
sometimes.
like an hour and a half for the full
Wow.
cycle. So if
Okay.
you miss it, you're like, oh.
Yeah, and so you really get to know that week, and it's bad at first because it's like, oh gosh, I can't believe I had to wait this long to just do this one quest. But then you actually start really getting into the rhythm of how that week works, and you're like planning ahead, like, hey, this is going to be done by Thursday to get to the astrologer. This one will be done by Sunday. I got to go do a church sermon. You're also like a minute like a preacher in this game, like a fake preacher who's just there to make money and stuff. It's pretty fun. And tell the good word. And so it's just a lot of fun things to think about, a lot of different mechanics kind of all working at once.
And it's nice because they take the farming genre and they do it well. They do like the farming in the same way that you're used to, and they do crafting in the same way that you're used to. But it has just enough of a spin on it for it to be really fun.
Nice.
I've played a lot of farming sim games. And
We
You're
have.
like a farming sim expert.
yes, I am. And after a while, even if they're good, the sameness of it kind of like wears you down. Where you're like, hey, I don't want to harvest cucumbers anymore.
Yeah, I want you come up with your own goals, because
Yeah.
if you don't, you're just doing like you say. I'm just harvesting cucumbers again,
Just like,
just to do it.
hey, it's spring. I'm gonna do turnips for
Yeah.
the rest of my life. And they do have like veg and fruits in this, and they do have some of the mechanics that you're used to. But they also have like mining and crafting, and then, like you're building you're building tombstones for your graves.
Oh, okay.
You're building like flowers to outline
Yeah.
things. But
So
then
you
you're also
gotta
building
mine
like,
that stone. You got to mine that marble, and then chisel that marble, and then put it in, like craft it into a tombstone.
You're helping out the local carpenter, and you might go over here and chop down some trees in the forest. Oh, which is also something they do that's cool. All of the actions in the environment are permanent. You cut down a tree, that tree does not come back.
Huh.
If you break a rock, rock does not come back, which I love. I feel like the permanence of that is important from an ecological standpoint, so environmental. So it's nice. So you have to like look for things, and sometimes you're like, do I need that? Like I'm gonna stack all these logs here, but like maybe for me, I was like, maybe I won't cut down the trees near my house because I like how they look. So everyone else can have ugly yards, but I'm gonna keep
Aesthetic
the
is
trees
purposeful.
near me.
Hey, listen, that's important.
And
all
also
right?
near my church.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you get points for like how nice your church looks. I mean, the trees don't count, but I like them.
It counts in your mind, and that's what matters.
Yes, all the characters are great. All
Yeah.
of them are amazing. My favorite is the donkey. He talks. And he's a communist, and he's very into being a
The
communist.
donkey is the character that delivers the bodies to you.
Yeah, he pulls a wagon,
Oh,
gives you the
okay.
bodies.
Yes, you have to feed. You have to leave a little basket of carrots, and if there's carrots in the basket, he'll come and give you a body once a day.
And-
if there's no carrots, no bodies.
And we recently learned a little bit about the developer. The developer is based in Russia. They were planning to have another DLC for the game that was going to come out. I think you said this year.
Oh yeah, there's 4 DLCs.
But it's been
Oh,
released on
there's
PC.
only 3 out.
Yeah, it's been released on PC, but it hasn't been released on console yet.
Okay.
And they said that's because of the war.
Okay.
They're anti-war and they're having a hard time.
Yeah, like the
releasing
last
things
tweet
right now.
from this developer was in protest to the invasion of Ukraine. Lazy Bear Games.
Lazy Bear.
There we
Games.
go.
is the
There we
name
go.
of,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the developer. Super sweet game, very fun to parallel play. Definitely recommend playing it with someone else.
Yeah.
This does do a thing in the game where it doesn't handhold you. So it may be like, go make this thing or collect these moths, and you're just like, you don't know how to do it. But having 2 people that are both having the same problem, trying to figure out, what element goes with what element to craft, this thing is
Gotcha.
great. Because then Man and I were just
Yeah.
comparing notes the entire time. Oh, did you figure out? Did you figure out how to make perfume? Oh yeah, I got to get the extract and then get this life potion. Take this moth, ground it up underneath, make a little extract, and put it together. And you're like, oh, I would have never figured that out. Thank you.
Snake said he needed this sword. Have you even? Yes, I did see that. You have to go over here and get this thing, and you got to be on level 5 before it works, and then But it's very complicated, but in a very fun way.
Gotcha.
And I usually got the complicated stuff, but it was the easy stuff I didn't get. At one point, I think Manda turned to me and said, I wonder how long it would take you to play this game if I wasn't here. She would tell me something. I'm like, oh, that's so obvious. Yeah.
Oh, to get logs, I have to chop down a tree, man.
The thing that got both of us for longer than we'd like to admit is that, like you said, we had to find moths, and we were like, I have no idea where these are. I've looked everywhere, I can't see them, and there were like these little glowing lights that appear near trees sometimes, and I was like, I feel like those would be lightning bugs, but I don't have a net
Can't
or anything.
catch them,
Like, I
but you're
can't
like,
catch
maybe I
them.
need to find a net. So
Okay.
you
So like,
go
and the game
around.
doesn't tell you, so we waited for a very long time, and then I don't know if it was you or me was picking flowers for another reason, and during the day you get butterflies, but at night you get moths.
I
And
just
it was
realized
like,
picking flowers
oh.
gives you insects sometimes.
Okay.
And that was the key. It's just like, I'm just going to do this. And it's like, oh.
And then you feel dumb. And then you feel like I could have had moths for the last 40 weeks. And I haven't.
You're like, I'm just waiting for the tool. Just waiting for the tool. It's
Maybe
gonna
you'll have
come.
it.
It's
You got a
gonna come.
fishing rod? It makes sense.
It's a fun game. It's got good dark humor. Definitely recommend it. She played on the Switch. I played on the Twitch. You played on Switch. I played on PlayStation. It's part of PlayStation's PlayStation Extra.
Okay.
Their Game Pass equivalent. So if you have PlayStation Extra, you'll have this game. Or
Nice.
Premium.
It
you'll have
was better on the PlayStation.
Okay.
It would be better on PC and
Oh, right.
PlayStation for my Switch. If I had it on for too long without saving and restarting the Switch, I don't know what the problem was. I don't know if they said on the internet, I'm not going to say the tech words right. I don't know if it's the cache or the way that they compiled it, but they said that it like stacks up and then like it freezes.
Yeah,
Anytime
they-
she
you
had a
have to, like-
cutscene, it was a potential that it could just boot her out.
But then
Oh,
when
I
I,
see.
The whole thing.
restarted my Switch, I shut it off, restarted my Switch, then it was fine. It was
Yeah.
fine for like another few of my life days.
Yeah, it probably has a little bit of a memory leak on Switch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's probably the reason. The Switch does not have much memory to work with.
No,
So,
no.
So yeah, that's probably the reason
And
why.
for a game that only saves when you sleep,
Yes.
like dying during a cutscene, having it turn off during a cutscene was like,
bad.
oh, and then it's like, what did I do? What did I
Yeah.
do today? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
we got there.
the
We got through it. We got
backtracking.
through it.
That's rough. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us this week. I think that'll do it for us. You can always find us online on the Twitch and on the YouTube and on the Twitter. We are streaming twice a weekly.
Yeah.
Once on Saturday, once on Tuesdays.
You guys talking about that She-Hulk on Tuesdays?
We are. We talked about the
Nice.
first episode this week, and we're going to be talking about the second episode this coming week.
Y'all don't want to miss that. The Dragon's Dish, Tuesdays in the evenings.
Yep, 10 p.m.-ish Standard Time.
Get your
Eastern
nerd
Standard.
pop culture on.
Yeah.
It's a Twitch 10.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Eastern Standard.
Eastern Standard Time, absolutely. But yeah, that'll do it for us. As always, my name is Brian.
My name is Troy.
Amanda.
And I'm Joe.
And we are
The
Taste of Dragons. Have a great week, everyone.
Later, skater.
Farewell.
Ooh,
I
hold on
brought
a second.
Alzheimer's in.
Nice. Hold that up. So I didn't try.
Taste of Dragons Gaming Podcast, a podcast for everyone's taste.